So guys, this is officially week 7 of the weekly trading results breakdown, right? And this week, man, this week has really been so crazy, bro. So crazy. Like I almost lost my phase 2 of the Profam account, but thankfully one trade saved me in the end, right? So I know we are going to enjoy this episode. Make sure you stick up to the end of this video so you don't miss any of the interesting things I'm going to show you that happened this week, especially on gold. Gold has really been so crazy this week, right? There were spikes up and down, right? But man, we made it to the end of this week, thankfully. I never thought I would make it to the end of this week. I thought I was going to lose my phase 2 of the Profam account, but thankfully we are still up and we are still alive. Next week we are still going to be trading, right? So guys, let's get right into the charts. I show you how this week has really gone. Boom, let's get right into it. First and foremost, I want us to look at the overall sentiment of the market. We have seen that this week has really been bullish, right? Like most of the trades I've taken this week have been buys, right? So whatever you're going to be seeing from now on, you will find out that most of the trades I've taken have been buy trades, right? So let's get to Monday and we see what we saw on Monday that made us look for the buy trade. So on Monday, I took 2 trades on Monday and they were all buys, right? And first and foremost, during New York session, this 5 minutes order block was mitigated, right? And as it was also being mitigated, it swept out liquidity, or I call it accumulation during the London session, right? So this was all I wanted to see. Now I only waited for market structure shift for me to enter for the trade, right? In which I got the market structure shift somewhere right here. This was the market structure shift I got. And I entered for the trade right below the market structure shift after that candle formed. Our stop loss was just below here, right? As you can see over here, the market failed to give us a risk to reward ratio of 1 to 2. After the market having swept out these highs over here, right? After the market having swept out these highs, I moved my stop loss to the most recent high, which is this one, right? So the market reversed, took us out at break even over here, right? So I again wanted to enter for the trade after that, and I entered after the market having swept again these highs. I said, all right, after the market having swept those highs, there's a high chance that it's going to keep going up, right? So I entered immediately after that break of structure, and my stop loss was below there. And as you can see over here, the market, without wasting any time, took us out at our stop loss, right? Now it's like we lost 1% on Monday. So let's go to Tuesday. On Tuesday, I also wanted to look for buys, and I took 2 trades as well, right? So first trade was a buy and the second one was a sell, right? And I took the buy trade, reason being, I saw the market during New York session swept out this liquidity, right? Now I was only waiting for market structure shift, and as it also swept out that liquidity, there was this 5 minutes order block that was lying below the liquidity, right? So after the market having swept the liquidity and mitigated that order block, I waited for a market structure shift, which I got right here, somewhere there, and immediately entered for that trade, which we lost, right? Now after we lost that trade, now let me remove this, right? After we lost that trade, I wanted to risk again a 0.5% on a sell trade. I said, all right, since the market took out this low over here, I wanted to see the market sweep this low for me to enter for the sell, and it actually did sweep that low. Let me call it the market structure shift, right over here. So I'm like, okay, I'm not going to enter for a sell trade from here since the market has refused to go up, and there was some from the 15 minutes time frame, there was some order block which was lying over here. So the market mitigated that order block, dropped down, swept these lows over here, and I entered for the trade immediately below these lows, and my stop loss was just somewhere right here, right? And my TP there as always. And what did happen is that the market took us out again, so making us lose 1.5% on Tuesday. So let's see what happened on Wednesday. So guys, on Wednesday has been one of my worst days this week, right? I lost a lot in percentage. I lost 3 trades. And what's more devastating is that I knew where the trades were gonna go. I knew the direction of each and every trade that I took, right? But unfortunately, my entry was always not in check, and I ended up losing 3 trades. And also, having lost those 3 trades, the market still ended up moving into my direction, bro. This was one of my worst days, guys. My psychology on this day was really fucked up. My psychology was really fucked up. I can be honest with you, right? But still, I got myself up and I moved on, right? So let's see the trades I've taken, right? Because I've been only looking for buys this week, right? Now the first thing is that I wanted to go for buys on Wednesday, right? And the first trade which I took was, reason being, there was this liquidity that was swept over here. You may not see it properly, but it was real liquidity sweep over here, just by a week over there, right? And I also now wanted to see a market structure shift, right, which happened just right over here. This was the market structure shift I wanted to see. Now I entered for the trade immediately after the market structure shift, and my stop loss was just below over here, right? And as you can see, the market reversed, took us out. Boom, that's the first loss we took. Now again, I took another trade, right? The market bounced off this order block, right? After the market having bounced off that bullish order block from the 5 minutes time frame, it moved up, right? It again made a low, swept these highs over here and left behind an order block again over here, right? So I'm like, okay, let me put my limit on that order block so that the market can keep moving up, right? I put my limit over there, and before I could even blink, poof, took me out. I've already lost 2% in 2 trades in less than 15 minutes. I was like, God damn, right? Okay, now I'm like, okay, now that's it. The same thing again happened over here. The market mitigated this order block and bounced off that order block. Again, mitigated this order block once more, and again did what? Bounced off that order block. Now I'm like, okay, since the market has been doing this over and over again, it is also going to be doing the same thing over here. Put my limit there and my stop loss just below over here. And again, boom, lost it again. So that's how I lost those trades. And after I lost that trade, see where the market has gone? Prof, see. Those were over 700 pips or even 1,000, right? And I ended up losing it. Bro, I was mad. I was really angry. But that's how the market is. The market will always play with your emotions, right? So guys, now let's see what happened on Thursday. So on Thursday, it was a very funny day in the trading market. And I can bet that 90% of even professional traders lost money on Thursday, because Thursday is when the market made a huge retracement from the bullish rally it has been having for weeks now. It made, like, if you never had your stop loss on any of the trades that you took on Thursday, and you even blink or even went for a short call, prof, you would have lost your whole account, right? You would have lost your whole account. And this is what happened, by the way, because I was still looking for buys, because gold has been massively bullish. So I never wanted to go against the overall sentiment of the market, right? Who am I to go against the overall sentiment of the market, right? So there was this 15 minutes order block over here. This was an order block, right? And during New York session, since I was looking for buys, like I normally say, sweep liquidity and a market structure shift after it, right? And this is what happened. Liquidity has been swept, as always. Now only left for the market structure shift, which happened right here, right? And as always, enter after the market structure shift. And what did happen? Prof, see this. If I never had my stop loss on, I would have swept my whole account off, right? But luckily I had my stop loss intact. That's why it's always advisable to use stop loss, right? I had my stop loss and I lost only 1% for that day, right? I lost only 1%. Now this day I was not actually mad at myself because it's just the market, right? This is the market making unpredictable moves, right? So we lost that trade on Thursday, 1%. So far right now, do you know how much we lost? We lost 6% so far. So far we lost 6%. So I was only left with about 4% for me to blow my Phase 2 account, right? But let's see what happened on Friday. Guys, so on Friday was the day that saved me, man. I got saved on this day. I almost lost my Profam account, but on Friday, only one single trade helped me to step out of huge drawdown, right? I took this one trade and it gave me 5% growth. 5% from negative 6% just in one single trade. I recovered 5%, right? Let's break it down. As you can see, I was looking for sales because on Thursday the market retraced, and now I'm like, okay, now the market is going to do what? It's going to go for a big retracement, right? So I was looking for sales on Thursday, and when I'm looking for sales, I wanted to see liquidity sweep from the previous session, right? I wanted to see a buy side liquidity, and it did happen just as expected over here. This is the buy side liquidity that occurred in the market right now, and as also swept liquidity, there is this 5 minutes order block that it mitigated over here that I marked, right? Now it's only waiting for market structure shift, right, which happened somewhere right here, but I entered somewhere right here, right? That's how I entered for that trade on Friday. And as you can see, I let everything run. I even never took some partials. I was so greedy and I was so obsessed with this trade, right? So I ended up closing the trade at a risk ratio of 1 to 5. And as you can see, the market dropped down and smashed our TP at a risk ratio of 1 to 5, making us recover 5%. So let me show you the overall result for the week. So this week has really been so crazy, man. But still, we are saved, man. We still have some capital to trade for the next week. So let's go. Let's see the overall results. So here it is, right? Here is the weekly result. On Monday, as you can see, we lost 1%. On Tuesday, I took 2 trades. I lost all of them. One I was risking 1% and one I was risking 0.5, right? So I lost 1.5% on Tuesday. On Wednesday, I took 3 trades. I lost all of them again, summing up to a 2.5 negative %, right? On Wednesday. On Thursday, took 1 trade, again lost it, right? So by now I lost like 6% already, right? Then on Friday, my savior came and I made 5% from a single trade, and that's how I recovered 5% out of 6% from this week, right? So we ended up losing 1% overall in this week, right? In other words, in this week we only lost 1% of our Phase 2 Profam account. So let me show you the Profam account right now and where we are at the moment, right? So let me show you that. So here is the account. As you can see, we are at 0.9%, which is 1%, right? We are negative 1% so far. It was 6%, right? But thankfully, we are back to negative 1%, and I believe next week we're gonna take it up. We are gonna take it higher and possibly pass the account, right? So as you can see over here, bro, here was the week. The week was here, man. Red. Then on the final day, green, man. That's how the week has been. The week has really been so crazy. But in the end, we have been stabilized, right? So guys, here is the account. As you can see, next week I'll update you on what actually happened on the account, right? So like I normally say, if you have watched up to the end of this video, do well to subscribe, like this video, and turn on the notification bell so that you don't miss our next episode as far as this account is concerned, right? So guys, I'm out of this video and see you in the next episode.